Hi everyone, it's Nick again from Bake Your Way Kitchen, and today I've got a special episode. I am making a butternut squash mac and cheese. I had a butternut squash, I had to use it, and I have this amazing recipe that I think you'll all love. I do generally focus on desserts, but I had this squash to use up, and I just wanted to show you because this recipe is amazing. So what I have here on this cookie sheet is 400 grams of butternut squash that with a teaspoon of oil that was just in the oven at 350 degrees. The other ingredients you'll need is about a teaspoon of olive oil, a cup and a half of milk, half a pound of macaroni, which is about 2 cups, 2 tablespoons of butter, and that would be about 28 grams. And you'll also need a 1/4 cup of flour, as well 1/3 of a cup of breadcrumbs, which is about 28 grams. You'll need about 1 cup of cheddar cheese. I used a mixture of the old white cheddar and just a mixture of different cheddars or cheeses. And here I've got a cup of Parmesan. Now I typically also add gruyere cheese, but I did not have it, so I'll have to live without it. Over here I've got a pot boiling, coming up to a boil, that I have salted for the macaroni. In the meantime though, what we're going to need to do is bring this to the stove, and we are going to need to melt our butter, add our milk and flour, and I'll show you what it looks like next. Our 2 tablespoons of butter and our teaspoon of olive oil have now melted. I am now going to add a 1/4 cup, and sorry I forgot to say the grams earlier, about 42 grams of flour, and I'm going to whisk this right now. So now what we're going to do is add our milk gradually in stages. So I'm adding, first little bit here. And you see how it's lumping up? This is normal. No need to panic. Alright, I'm going to add a bit more. Just want to stir constantly. And I'll add the remaining milk. And it'll just take a minute to return to a boil, and I'll show you what it looks like once it is done there. Alright, so it's still trying to return to a boil, but I forgot to mention 2 other important ingredients in this. It's a 1/4 cup of, not a 1/4 cup, sorry, a 1/4 teaspoon of salt and a 1/4 teaspoon of cayenne. So I'm just adding that in right as we speak. And just going to want to mix this in. So don't worry, see how it's still very lumpy? That's okay. It's as soon as it returns to a boil and we add the remaining ingredients, that it will smoothen out. So no need to panic. As you can see from the last time, it's already thickened up a bit, which is what we want. That's why we added the flour and the butter. And as you can see, my water has come to a boil, so now I'm going to take, just over here, my 2 cups of macaronis, and I've put it in. So that'll only take probably, I would imagine, 5-10 minutes tops. And yeah, every pasta is different, so just look at your directions for yours. Alrighty, this has definitely come to a boil. So what we're going to need to do is add the remaining ingredients. The pasta is now cooked. I would cook it just underdone because we are going to put this in the oven, so you don't want it to be overcooked. I also added the squash, the pepper, and the Dijon mustard, and we're just going to incorporate this first. And of course, there's one other important element to this that we're going to add right now, and that is the cheese. Alright, so everything is now incorporated, and let me tell you, it smells amazing. I tell you, the combination of butternut squash and mac and cheese is brilliant. So I've got it here. It's all ready to go into an oven that needs to be preheated to 350 degrees Celsius or 350 degrees Fahrenheit, 180 degrees Celsius. And you can either put it in a casserole dish, or in my case, I'm going to put it in these. Alright, so as you can see, I got about 5 portions, and you can see they just look fantastic. And the last step to go on top here is just some breadcrumbs. So you just sprinkle a little over the top, just like so. And if you're just doing this in a big casserole dish, just put it all over the top. There we go. So it'll add a nice crusty top. Anyways, I'm actually going to be serving this later with my family, so I just decided to make this in the afternoon to make it easier in the evening. Just pop it in the oven, which you can do the same. You simply just have to wrap it and put it in the fridge. So I'll show you what it looks like once it's out of the oven, and then we will have a taste. Alright, so it's now sizzling, and I got my ketchup. I can't have mac and cheese without ketchup, so I'm going to give this a try and let me know how it is. That is so good, and the breadcrumbs complement it so well, and of course the butternut squash. It's just fantastic.